So we're going to start with card number 13 today. You have just read the homepage of the MAD website. MAD stands for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. It became an official organization in 1980, shortly after the son of Becky Brown died from injuries suffered in a car accident involving a drunk driver. Their mission today is to stop drunk driving, prevent underage drinking, and support victims of drunk and drugged driving. The author's primary purpose for the above statements on the MAD homepage is most likely A. To persuade readers to never drink and drive. B. To perform readers of Becky Brown's life. C. To inform readers about the MAD organization. Or D. To persuade readers to support the MAD organization. I don't see any answer choices here for entertain. So that means our author's purpose is either persuade or inform. Who can tell me between the two choices which one seems more likely? Are they trying to persuade us or are they trying to inform? Alexa, what do you think? Persuade or inform?
Maybe.
Okay, so do they tell us the bad things that could happen? Do they tell us you should not do this? Where? Does it say it in the information we have? It doesn't. And that's one of the things we have to be careful of with author's purpose. Like, for instance, in this one, you are right. They do give us like some of the consequences, the bad things that could happen for drunk driving. But even though in our minds we can say, oh, that's not a good thing, I don't want that to happen to me or to anyone that I love, they don't tell us in the writing not to. So the author's not trying to persuade us, they're trying to inform us. Just like with a lot of the other stuff in reading, we have to be very careful that we have some kind of proof from the writing that's going to back up our answer. So we can say, I read this and I decided not to do that because it sounds bad to me. But if the reader never tells you, Alexa, never do that, then they're not trying to persuade you. They're just giving us information. That's all right. Like I said, they gave us information and you made a decision based on that information. It's a good decision. It's not a great idea to to drink and drive like they're talking about. It's a bad thing. They even made a whole organization to stop people from doing that. But the reason why they wrote this wasn't to persuade us, it was to give us information. Now, Alexa, let's look, because there are two answer choices that give us, or that tell us, that the author's purpose was to inform. To inform readers of Becky Brown's life, or to inform readers about the MAD organization. So, Alexa, what are they trying to give us information about? About this one person, Becky Brown, or about the organization against drunk driving? So, do they keep talking about Becky Brown? Now, they talk about her one time, but let's look at our sentences. You have just read the homepage of the MAD website. So, no Becky Brown. MAD stands for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. No Becky Brown. It became an official organization in 1980, shortly after the son of Becky Brown died from injuries suffered in a car accident involving a drunk driver. Okay, we talked about Becky Brown one time. Their mission today is to stop drunk driving, prevent underage drinking, and support victims of drunk driving and drug driving. So they only talked about her one time. So do you think that's who they were focusing on, was Becky Brown? They were talking about the organization, so that was the author's purpose. Not to give us information about her, but to give us information about the whole organization. So I want to pick answer choice C. Card number 14 says Jack got home from school and went about his afternoon routine. First, he put his jacket in the closet. Then he took his backpack to his room and changed his clothes. Next came the heartbreaking surprise. He went over to the fishbowl to feed his betta fish, only to find him floating lifeless at the top of the water. Ernie had died. He immediately called his mom at work. "Mom, I think Ernie is dead." "Oh, honey, I'm sorry. You've had him for 3 years now. Do you want to have a funeral for him when I get home from work?" Jack's mom asked. It says the author's primary purpose for the above story is most likely blank. If A, to describe Jack's after-school experience, B, to inform Jack's readers of the risks of pet ownership, C, to persuade readers to create an after-school routine, or D, to entertain readers with a realistic fiction story. We have answer choices for persuade, for inform, and for entertain. So who can tell me what would be the author's purpose of this short story? Would it be to persuade, to inform, or to entertain? Jadine, what do you think? Persuade, inform, or entertain?
Entertain.
Okay. So it was an emotional story, it was a sad story. And I completely agree with you, Jadine. Now if I look at my answer choices, there's actually only one that says entertain, and it says to entertain readers with a realistic fiction. That would be, and you're right, and I'm glad you thought about that. So entertain is all about getting you to feel something, some kind of emotion, whether it's happy, whether it's scared, or in this case, it's a sad story, so they want you to feel sad. That was a good idea you had there, thinking, oh, this is a really emotional story, so it's gotta be one to entertain. Number 15. You have just read a post online about a person's recent visit to a newly opened restaurant in town. He goes into great detail about his experience there, starting with the first step into the restaurant and finding a tastefully decorated dining room with dim and calm lighting, the soft romantic music playing. He then tells of the beauty, aroma, and superb flavor of the meal he enjoyed. The author's primary purpose for writing this post is most likely blank. A, to inform readers of the menu at the new restaurant. B, to persuade readers to try the new restaurant. C, to describe to readers the author's experience at the restaurant. Or D, to inform readers what makes a new restaurant worth trying. So if I look at my answer choices, I see some for persuade, and I see some answer choices for inform, but I don't see any for entertain. So I don't even have to think about that. So this is either a persuade author's purpose or this is an inform author's purpose. Who can tell me if I'm trying to decide between the two, which one seems like the better choice? Is this written to persuade or is this written to inform? Which one would it be? Persuade or inform? Kylie, what do you say? Persuade or inform? Okay, so they're giving us facts, they're giving us details. Now, Kylie, I see a couple of answer choices about informing. We have A, to inform readers of the menu at the new restaurant. C, to describe to readers the author's experience at the restaurant. Or D, to inform readers what makes a new restaurant worth trying. Which one do you think is the better answer choice, Kylie? What was the author trying to inform us about? What were they trying to give us information about? Was it about the menu? Was it about their experience? Or was it about what makes a new restaurant? You pick A, C, or D. C, to describe to readers the author's experience at the restaurant. I agree with you completely. The author's details that they gave us talked about what the restaurant looked like. He talked about the music, about the lights. He talked about the smell and the flavor of the food. So he's telling people all about what he experienced, what he saw, and what he heard, and what he tasted at this restaurant. So he was using all of these different senses to tell people what it was like to eat there. I think answer choice C is probably the best answer choice that we could pick. I want you all to try number 16 on your own. I want you to read it. I want you to pick an answer choice. And then in a little bit, we're going to take a look at it. And I'm going to tell you what I think. We'll see if we get the same answer or if we have um, a different idea. So I want you to try number 16 on your own. Okay. Card 16 says you and your mom have decided to train for your first 5K road race. You Google how to train for your first 5K and arrive at a website that shows correct running form, breathing guideline, nutritional tips, and a complete 9-week training schedule. The author's primary purpose for making this website is most likely A, to explain to readers how to properly train for their first 5K, B, to inform readers about 5K races, C, to persuade readers to eat right while training for a 5K, or D, to persuade readers to try training for a 5K. Jadine, which answer choice do you think is the best for card 16?
E to inform. Breathing.
Okay.
And it's
Does anyone else have a different answer? Or does everyone else agree with Jadine that the answer is B? Christopher? Okay, Christopher, you say A. Okay. Why do you think that A is better than B? So why would you say A, Christopher? What makes you pick that one over B? Okay, so you both agree on the fact that it's giving us information, which is absolutely true. The author's purpose for this is to inform us. They're giving us information. So they're not trying to persuade us of anything. That means that we don't want to pick answer choice C or answer choice D, because both of them say to persuade. That leaves us with these two answer choices, A and B. To explain to readers how to train properly for their first 5K, or to inform readers about 5K racing. Okay, super close answer choices, but let's take a look at what the website said, because that's what it asks us. The author's primary purpose for making this website. Use my scribble tool so I can circle and underline some stuff. You Google how to train for first 5K. Important word there. How to train. And if we look at the information on the website, arrive at a website that shows, and it shows you a few things. It shows you running form. It shows you breathing guidelines. Shows you nutritional tips. What is nutritional tips? What does that mean? Jadine, what does nutritional tips mean? Okay, to how to eat healthy, how to eat correctly in this case for running a 5K. And look at the last thing it says is on the website. A complete 9-week training schedule. So twice I'm seeing this word train, to train. The best answer choice that they give us here would be answer choice A. Because the website they are on doesn't just tell them this is what a 5K is. It's not just about 5K races. What the website is focused on is the same thing that the person typed into Google. It wasn't what is a 5K. The question was how to train for a 5K. And all the things that they tell them are about training, running form. Because if you don't run correctly, especially on a 5K, which is a longer race, if you're not running correctly, you can end up feeling really sore or hurt afterward. Breathing guidelines. Because if you're breathing wrong, and I know that sounds funny, but if you're breathing wrong, especially when you're talking about a really long race like that, you can get really tired really quickly, and it'll be much harder for you to finish the race. Nutritional tips, because especially when you're training for something like this, you have to make sure that the food you're eating is the kind of food that you need. Because if you're doing a really good job training and you're training really hard and you're practicing all the time, then you go home and you eat pizza and Takis, it's probably going to be harder for you to run that race. And the last one, it even tells you, it gives you a training schedule. So it tells you this is what you want to try out, and then the next week you do this, and the week after you do this. So I think both of you did great figuring out that it was trying to inform us, but we have to be careful about what the facts, what the details they're giving us are. Because it wasn't just about 5K races. This was the important part here. How to train. We had 2 clues that A was our correct answer. So good job to both of you, because neither of you said anything about persuading. You're absolutely right. This was just informing. But we've got to be a little careful about what specifically are they talking about. What details from the story, what proof from the story can I find that will match one of my answer choices?